What's going on, everybody? Welcome to On Texas Football, a little weekend edition. My goodness, we're going to start with the NFL Combine because we just saw some blazing fast times from Texas Longhorn draft hopefuls in Indianapolis. Of course, unjoined right now by lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. I'm CJ Vogel, of course. Here we are on Texas Football weekend edition. Rod Babers, we just watched what is unofficially right now the fastest 40-yard dash in NFL Combine history. Xavier Worthy, 4.22 after running a 4.25 in his first attempt, just tied John Ross for the fastest 40-yard dash we've ever seen at the Combine. That's amazing.
It is amazing. It is, because Xavier Worthy is a guy that plays fast, right? He plays at a really fast speed. So that's why everybody expected him to run fast. I mean, he was clocked as the fastest ball carrier in college football last season. 22.7 miles per hour, I believe it was. So everybody expected him to run fast because he plays fast, but to have him run faster than he actually plays, I mean, that's a 4.25 and then a 4.22. Think about the confidence it takes, folks, to run a 4.25, and I'm sure he was advised by somebody in his circle, hey, you're good. 4.25, you're golden. You don't even have to run again. And yet he said he wanted to run again because he wanted to break the record, which means he has been running consistent low 4.2s in his workouts. To have that kind of confidence, you've been running low 4.2s consistently. So you're like, no, I can break it because I broke it in workouts. I went lower than 4.22 in workouts, so I know I can do it. You can tell because that to me shows a tremendous amount of confidence, but also shows you that he's as fast as advertised. And most guys aren't. Most guys aren't as fast when they're being. You see that a lot of times in the Combine when the guys are being hyped up to be really fast. Sometimes, they disappoint. That was not the case. He actually exceeded expectations. Everybody thought he would run a 4.29, low 4.3. No, this dude runs a 4.22 and ties the Combine record. My mind is blown, and my mind is not blown very often. I'm not a man shocked very easily, and I am shocked at how fast Xavier Worthy is.
A 1.49 10-yard split as well. You talk about blazing and a get off that not many guys in the NFL or professional athletics can even top. That is a tremendous time for Xavier Worthy. Stood on business today. You talk about it going into the Combine. That was something that he wanted to accomplish. And sure enough, here we are talking about it. 41-inch vertical, 10-foot, 11-inch broad jump as well. The explosive athleticism was on display for Xavier Worthy. But he wasn't the only Longhorn that shined today. And I think the surprise of the afternoon belonged to his teammate, actually, Adonai Mitchell, running a 4.34 official time in the 40-yard dash. Just a hair under 6 feet, 3 inches tall. That's a remarkable time for A.D. Mitchell, who now we can firmly, sit back and say, this is a first-round caliber wide receiver. You can make that argument for both, obviously, but for Mitchell specifically, who is kind of on that teetering, back and forth of where he will go, I have a very hard time seeing 32 picks go and his name not come out as one of them.
It is one of the deepest wide receiver drafts we've ever seen. Now, wide receiver is the deepest position in football at any level. Mm-hmm. It has been probably the last 7-8 years, but this class is exceptional. You have 3 wide receivers taken in the top 10. Now, they're even debating about who the number 1 wide receiver is. Everybody thought it was Marvin Harrison Jr. forever. Now people are saying Malik Neighbors may be the number 1 wide receiver. That's how deep the class is. But I'm with you, CJ. I don't see how A.D. Mitchell isn't a first-round pick. I don't see how Xavier Worthy is not a first-round pick. Now, Mel Kiper had been number 32 in his last mock draft. That was before the Combine. I think now A.D. Mitchell firmly cemented himself as a first-round pick. Because I said a 4.4 would guarantee him first-round status. A 4.3, man, he's going to surpass a couple of wide receivers in the wide receiver rankings. I think they had him around 7th or 8th. That's why he was at the bottom of the first round.
You're going straight up boards.
Yeah, I think now he's going to be like the fifth wide receiver taken. Guys, there will be 3 wide receivers taken in the top 10. So he'll probably go 15, somewhere around there, 15, 16 potentially after that run on wide receivers really early on. And I'm with you. I think a team is going to trade up to get Xavier Worthy. I'm gonna make that prediction right now. I think they're going to see Xavier Worthy drop in just because in the first round you're going to have 4 or 5 receivers taken ahead of him. And I guarantee there'll be a team, could be Kansas City. Hell, it could be another team looking for wide receiver help that goes, no. We can't afford to let this guy go. We got moving up to get him with that type of explosive potential and explosive speed. I think a team is going to prioritize X-Man on their board, even above some of the other receivers. Yes, he is a little slight. He's a little small. He's a little slim, but he's played like that his entire career. And he's got the film to show he's got great play strength. He's not afraid of contact. He can play through contact, even show the ability, I think late in his career to make some contested catches. I think Xavier Worthy is a first-round pick. I think Texas will have 2 first-round wide receivers, and Byron Murphy's a first-round guy. That'd make 3 first-round picks potentially. Last time Texas had 3 first-round picks, what are you going back to 1980?
A long time.
Not
since I've been born. I know that.
Long time. Yeah.
But we would be remiss if we didn't also mention Keelan Robinson and the day that he put up 4.42, 4.43 in his official 40-yard times. Again, you talk about the get off and the explosion that we see from Texas ball carriers this year. 1.51 in the 10-yard split, a 33-inch vertical as well. So in terms of putting numbers to paper and putting yourself in a position to get drafted, Keelan Robinson answered the call today. He actually tweeted afterward. He thought his times were slow. So maybe not too happy with what he did, but hey, a 4.42 for a guy that's kind of on the fringe, you'd take those 9 times out of 10, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he'd run a little bit faster too, but let's keep in mind he is best kick returner in this draft class. Yep. And I brought this up yesterday. The NFL is seriously considering, and as a matter of fact, some people believe it's pretty much inevitable that they will change to the XFL kickoff return for the 2024 season. They're going to vote on it again, propose it again in March. If that is the case, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you right now, Keelan Robinson's stock is about to blow up. All right, because he's the best kickoff returner in this class. If they switch to the XFL kickoff, which had a 90% return rate, right? So that means you're returning a lot of kicks. And they're thinking about penalizing touchbacks. They're thinking about making touchbacks come out to the 35. Yeah, so exactly. So they're gonna make sure that teams don't even kick it deep. They're gonna try to kick it shallow so that they incentivize return. And there's gonna be so much green grass with the XFL returns because nobody can move until the ball is caught. Only the kicker and the returner can move before the ball is caught. The coverage team and the return blockers are only 5 yards apart, and then once the ball is caught, then they can engage each other. CJ, I don't know if you've ever seen the XFL kickoff returns, but there's a lot of green grass. You can pretty much guarantee elite kickoff return is going to get 25 yards easily on kickoff returns these days. If that is the case, teams will prioritize kick returner as a position to have on the roster, or they'll have it on the practice squad. Now, I don't know if he's going to get drafted as a result of that, but I'm telling you, he's going to be a priority free agent for a lot of teams when they change that kickoff rule.
Definitely. The 3 tremendous performances from Longhorns today and a carryover of the theme that we've seen earlier, started by guys like Ryan Watts, T'Vondre Sweat, Byron Murphy. Jalen Ford got a little nicked up in his combine performance earlier on Friday afternoon. So fortunately, not a whole lot from him this weekend in Indianapolis. But Ryan Watts certainly played his way into draft conversation. He actually, when you look at the testing, the measurables, the overall draft profile, there's reason to think he might be jumping pretty high in this draft. He had a tremendous day, 40-plus inch vertical, a 4.53 40-yard dash at 6'3". I mean, at the defensive back spot, he made himself a lot of money this weekend, and for good reason. Really excited for him. Really excited for the Texas Longhorns to be in the conversation to see guys go perform in Indianapolis at big positions, because it's let's be honest here, it's been a minute since we've seen this kind of conversation coming out of Indianapolis surrounding the Texas Longhorns. So, Rod, one last thought. How exciting is this for Texas fans, for fellow alumni to sit back and say, this is the era of Texas football that we're in, and it doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere soon.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal. I mean, we haven't had this many guys to celebrate at the combine, right? 11 guys invited to the combine. So that also in itself is an accomplishment, but I can't remember when we had this many high achievers. Also, so in terms of the broad numbers, right? We're getting the quantity of players there, but I'm talking about the quality that you're starting to see from these players. I said most of the guys who went to the combine would increase their draft stock. Byron Murphy, draft stock increased. Ryan Watts, draft stock increased. Xavier Worthy, draft stock increased. A.D. Mitchell, draft stock increased. Not really sure about T'Vondre Sweat. Not sure about J.T. Sanders. Not sure about Keelan Robinson. But most of these guys that went to the combine, you would call it a success, because I think there's no question they increased and improved their draft stock. So you're right. Longhorn fans should be ecstatic. This is about talent development. Talent acquisition is a big part of this too. You bring in a guy like, Ryan Watts, you bring in a guy like A.D. Mitchell. Those are your transfer portal acquisitions. But even the work you've done to develop Keelan Robinson as well, but even the work you've done to develop this talent that you brought in, it really is impressive. I mean, I think Texas football should be proud today of really what they've done for the brand overall. You're going to have, man, you got a lot of high school kids watching this thinking, oh man, I want to represent Texas. I want to go out there and show out like the boys from Texas did. I'm with you. I think this is it's really a landmark kind of occasion for Texas, considering the amount of players who are achieving at a high level at the combine. And I mean, these are some of the greatest performances I've ever seen from a Texas player at the combine, truth be told. I don't know if I've seen players at the combine perform like A.D. Mitchell and Xavier Worthy and a Byron Murphy, where they overall seem to showcase their abilities and seem to be the best among their positions at the combine. Even when Marquise Goodwin ran fast, he just ran fast. I don't know if he's considered to be the best overall workout at his position. That's what we're talking about with Byron Murphy, A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Worthy. That is mind-blowing. It's fantastic.
It's remarkable. Very, very remarkable. And it's refreshing to see, honestly. So overall, a tremendous weekend right now going on in Indianapolis for the Texas participants. And of course, Christian Jones to come tomorrow. One Longhorn who did not have a great weekend was myself, who predicted the 40-yard dash times for these two guys much slower than what they actually ran. So hand up, that's on me. I'm man enough to admit I was wrong there. Actually, it was a 43-yard prediction. I will go with that. So we'll move on from that one, erase it from the history books, on to the next one. But again, a tremendous week for the guys in Indianapolis.
Really
Longhorns, again, improving their stock, improving the program. And, hey, this is the new era of Texas football. And we'll see what that brings whenever we talk about the rule changes coming up next year in college sports.